All right, the time is now, Blaze. Mid-split playoffs, round number 1, about to go down. Rebel against Elevate. It's going to be a ton of fun. And two teams, without question, who have had, I would say, their struggles. You know, Elevate in the beginning looked incredibly strong. Shock. MVP from week number 1, but throughout Pro League, they have had their struggles. And even in last week, the final 2 days of Pro League, they ended up losing to Team Queso. And I don't know what that says about this Elevate roster. Maybe they have some issues going on, but I got to say, Rebel might be looking good here. But how are you feeling going into it?
I went back and I was looking at their scores throughout the Pro League. And this one was a hard one to call because they both had great weeks to kick off the Pro League.
Yep.
Rebel leading up until that point, Emergence Days was on fire. Elevate, looking like they were going to be a team that was going to sit at the top for a while. But at the back end of the Pro League, they kind of fell off. Now they had close games against top teams out there. Elevate coming out with 5 victories, Rebel coming out with 3. Now Rebel just taking out the bottom 3 teams below them. Rated
Right.
R, Oxygen, Team Queso. Now Team Queso beat Elevate, okay?
Yes,
That
they
was their
did.
only win throughout the season. Now we didn't get a chance to
Crazy.
see it because we didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to tournament time today, I think both these guys are going to be ready, but one maybe a little bit more ready than the other.
There's always one, right? There's always one that's more ready, right? Whenever it comes to these series. And of course, we have to
Yeah.
watch one of those players. As we pull that up, the stats are going to be looking good for Demise. Come on, 1.75. He's got a plus or minus of -4, which I know you guys are looking at that -4. He's in a negative. No, that's actually really good. We've been seeing players who have literally been, 60, 70, maybe even 100 in the negative. But even so, though, you look at his percentage of team kills, 26.10. He's definitely carrying his weight, given the fact that it's 4v4, right? So he's statistically above and going above and beyond, I should say. True engagement success also looking good. But of course, the stats are in front of you, Blaze. What else do we know about Demise?
Well, we know that Demise is, going to be one of our better 1v1 players out there. I have said from last season till now, I have loved his improvement. His performance, this league has been so great, and it needed to be, right? Because
Yeah.
you look at his squad, he's been slaying out there at the top with next to DeToX. And I look at some of the old positions in which he played on some of those old teams of Hive. He was in a lot of 1v1 positions, rocking those home hills, and he'd come out with some big fights to help his team extend the rounds. And we're going to see him do that a lot this weekend. He's not the flashiest player out there, but when it comes down to having strong Gears of War fundamentals, having great movement, hitting solid shots, great rotations, he has high points in all of those columns. And so the most well-rounded player definitely on this Elevate roster. And I'm excited to see him play in his first series.
And I'm excited to see Pick and Ban without question. We got to break down the maps because Rebel and Elevate, again, have had their struggles as of recently. But this is going to tell us what we're going to be seeing. Harbor starting off. I like this. I feel both teams, are fairly decent. I would say Rebel probably has the leg up heading into Harbor. So that's going to be a great first map for them. District, though, is it going to be, honestly, Elevate, come on. They're a great team there. But Rebel has shown that they can play that map quite well. Now, let me say this. In a big if Crack can control his shots and his stuns. We have seen him misplace shocks. We've seen also him whiff a couple of drop shots whenever those were placed down. So as long as he can keep that in control and Identivez and Crack can be on the same page, they could be okay. And then Exhibit as tiebreaker, man, that's just going to be intense, constant action, constant fights. What do you think about these 3 maps?
I think that the first 2 maps look really good here for Elevate. They're in a great position to get a 2-0, but let's see, Rebel, they take map number 1. They win Harbor. They need to get that one in order to get to Exhibit, because I do think if we make it to Exhibit, Rebel can take that momentum of being in that map 3, and based off how that map is going to be played, they could have the upper hand against Elevate. I think that they will have the upper hand against Elevate when we do get to if we get to Exhibit, but you have to go through the first 2 maps. I think Elevate is could 50-50 on Harbor as far as how good they are.
I agree.
I'm thinking about in the past of just performances and all of it's kind of going through my head.
Sure.
I think it's going to be 50-50 here on Harbor. Both squads are going to be great, but I do think District Elevator is going to be the better team.
So then we agree, right? It is in fact a must-win map on Harbor for Rebel to send it, or at least have a guarantee to send it to a map number 3 on Exhibit where they have a good chance. So hopefully Rebel is ready to go, because if they lose Harbor, I do agree with you. Coming into District, we have seen Rebel be a bit sluggish on that map, but hey, I overall today, when it comes to predictions, I think it's going to be a good day for all of us. And I'm saying all of us as a team because we need to beat Twitch chat. We need to beat the 8-ball, okay? So I'm actually banding together. Today's going to be a good day for all of the casters, okay? But for me, I'm going with Rebel. I think Rebel, for me, is going to be the better team today. Money's on the line. They're going to lock it up, and they're taking things serious. And I got to say, I was actually impressed even on Thursday in E-Days when they played against a United, round number 1, close series, went to map number 3, round 9, and the United obviously was able to edge them out. But it showed to me that Rebel is improving quite a bit because the United's been improving. So I think Rebel's going to be okay. And that boot camp also helped. That's going to be another talking point. But for you, Blaze, who are you going with and why?
You know, Rebel has had some close series against the top teams out there, pushed a lot of them to map number 3. So we do know that Rebel are fighters. But, you know, as you mentioned, you know, kind of like that boot camp and locking it in, getting full cycles of scrims with some of these squads and leading up into this day. I'm not convinced that Rebel can do it against Elevate. I got to pick Elevate because, you know, I think Elevate has been doing just as much practice here. I got a chance to catch Demise win a 2v2 Astro battles last night, so I know his shots are on point. And so Elevate, they have put in a lot of work, practice every single day. They've been getting their wagers in. I just think that they're going to be the best well-rounded squad here. And I'm laughing at you because you said, yeah, it's going to be a good day of predictions with the casters, but we're split already. All of us won't be having a great day, Taylor.
Hey, but at least we're gonna have one guaranteed point, okay, in the predictions, and it's gonna be because I picked Rebel. Hey, I don't know, like you said, it's a 50-50. Who knows, Blaze? I gotta give you a hard time because you give it right back. Chat, who are you going with? Are we gonna have a good day? Or are we gonna have a bad day? Let's find out. We're gonna have a good day, chat. They're going with Rebel.
We are gonna have a good day.
Well, yeah, okay, because you think Elevate, and that's fair enough. Look, they do have the MVP of Shock on the team, as you mentioned also, even in those stats, Demise. They do have a chance. But let me pose a question to you, okay? One of the biggest reasons why I went with Rebel, the boot camp I just found out about pre-show, right? By then, I had already made my decision. I was going with Rebel. For me, I went with Rebel because, again, they've been improving. They had a great series against the United. They've been looking better and better, and I think they understand that it's time to put up or shut up, even though they were so close to relegation. But Elevate has been definitely struggling recently. I don't think they're on the same page, specifically losing to Team Queso. Again, that was their only win, and I would definitely not put, no one would put Team Queso beating Elevate. I think the worst enemies for Elevate today are going to be themselves. What do you think?
Ooh, that's a good call out. I think their worst enemy today is going to be Noble, but, you know, we'll find that out soon here. All right, as we're kicking this one off with Demon, it's map number 1, Harbor. Now, Demon's going to go down right away. You see Elevate wrapping around this winch, picking up 3 quick kills. The C-Hill's getting captured. Player 9 is caught between 3 players. This could be a trip cap domination to start the game. You got 2 members of Elevate capping up. Is Demon going to be able to contest? The flash connects on both. Damage is there. Demon gets revived, and they will get another chance to fight this one. Does Elevate got the support over the top? Tidy's going to fall. But I love how Elevate isn't backing up fully just yet. They know all 3 players are in front of them. They just got to hit a good shot. In the end, Rebel will get another chance to stay alive in this round.
And like you said, not backing off was pretty important there. Keep that pressure up. That nets them a 70 or so point lead. And not only that, Elevate also still has 2 of their members up. They're going to be able to challenge Rebel, who's coming off of this respawn. But Shock at the forefront is going to drop off. But Elevate looks as if they're going to start prioritizing that fight onto Bravo. They understand. They've counted the numbers. And currently, right now, they have player 8, Identivez, who's going to be over there. But Kardia is going to be instrumental in this location. He's going to be able to lance her out. And more importantly, too, Elevate didn't accumulate enough of a point lead to keep that win condition. So if Rebel can hold on to this, they're going to close that gap, take the point lead for themselves, and put Elevate in a tough spot.
All right, so Elevate trying to get out the tough spot they're currently in. Double down there, coming through from Rebel on these members of Elevate. Shock took some initial damage. Can he stay alive? The pinch comes in from the right. Rebel, they will survive this team fight. And after that initial that we saw off the start, it looked like Elevate was going to walk away with this round, folks. But now even though Elevate has the lead at the 150 mark, it's not going to be for long. Rebel still has this defensive setup. It's going to take Elevate some time to break it. And it's looking like if Rebel can hold on just a little bit more, they'll have round number 1 locked in.
Round number 1 locked in indeed. So Elevate's got one more good chance, good push to make it happen, and they are definitely going to be committing for the OE, but more importantly, heading into Bravo. Smoke's going to go ahead and, obscure the sights for Kardia on that Lance position, and it seems to be helping. Tidy's going to get the pickup on his shot. Identivez is going to be challenged. Crack has been marked. He is now down, and this push is looking good, but the domination's coming through, and that overextension might have just saved Rebel the round.
It might have, because we don't see anybody from the side of Elevate dropping back to get the decap on the home hill. You already see those 2 members. They made it back there. Shot can't do much, and it was a hard-fought round from Rebel, man. You love to see it. And, I'm going to go back and give some criticism to Elevate, because you look back at the first round when they were getting that trip cap domination, those 2 players on top of that home hill need to be ready to, like, chunk Demon as soon as he gets up there. You got to be ready to give him a melee before he even makes it to that ring. You got a split second to lock in round number 1. If not, you could possibly be fighting all the way up until this point. So you got to tighten up there when you have the opportunities to close out the round early.
All right, so Rebel takes it. Round number 1, Elevate. We're on the cusp of taking it, but of course, Rebel was able to push them back. So looking good off the start for them. Again, we mentioned this is a must-win map. District, it's going to be pretty heavily weighed over towards Elevate. So like I said, off to a great start. Demon, I know pre-show we were kind of talking, just amongst ourselves, and you mentioned Demon is going to be a key player for this Rebel roster who needs to pop off. How true is that after watching round 1?
I think it's going to be, it's very true. I think he was one of the main reasons why he was able to come back and win it. Now, he was first blood, but he still managed to come back off respawn and get towards the home hill, and then get aggressive and be proactive on the map, making it hard for his opponents to get all 3 hills. And you see him off the start with help of his teammates. It's Crack who picks up 2, makes Demon's job just a little bit easier there. Now Rebel is on top of their opponent's home hill. They're trying to take Tidy down low at B. He's staying alive as long as he can, but trip cap domination coming through. Elevate should be able to hold off.
Definitely should be, and Rebel might put themselves in a tough spot, especially if player 6ix9ine continue to push up. Identivez needs to hold his ground, but that's a lot to ask for when 3 members are pushing him all at the same time. He obviously falls off, and Rebel pretty much just gave Elevate the OE for free. Of course, Elevate doesn't take that opportunity. Player 7's the only one over there, and they want to get these players out of position. And I got to say, for Kardia and Demon, they're pushed up quite a bit. What do you think about their positioning here? Is it going to work out?
It can work out, but they got to stay tight, and they got to be aggressive to push these 2. You see the headshot that comes through from Demon. That was big, so Rebel's going to be able to get the 2v1 and wrap the spawn. Shock's not going to get any help in this situation. He goes down. The home hill could be next on the list for Rebel, but they already got 2 hills to their name. They could just worry about map control in this moment. That's exactly what they're going to do. Now they need to get DeToX out of his position. He gets the first shot, misses the second, but connects on the third. Lots of damage on Identivez. Those are going to be 2 kills coming out for DeToX. So let's see if Elevate can turn this into a domination. They got the positioning on the map, and they got the time. They just need the kills.
Player 6 needs to win this fight, and he does. So B will stay in the hands of Rebel. Elevate, and that's a big win given the fact that Elevate successfully gets the break on the OE for the double home hill. But even so, Swarm still has that win condition, and Rebel is coming off of spawn fiercely. They're going to take over C. 7 is going to be left behind to retake that, and they understand at this point B is going to be our weak point. We need to provide defense. This round should be theirs. The 2-1 back in their favor, and they're just 20 seconds away from victory.
That was great pressure from Elevate pushing towards their opponent's home hill, but they never got the decap at B. I forgot who took out Shock there in that moment, but if he would have got the decap, Elevate would have been in a better position. Now, just 10 seconds left to the round. Is anybody going to be able to make it to C in time? They will not. And Rebel, 2 close rounds that could have honestly went either way. They figure out how to just inch out the victory, and good job to them.
And well done. So up 2-0. Biggest thing, though, Rebel needs to keep that composure, Keep that strategy. Elevate is a team that does a great job at reacting and adjusting. And eventually, especially if it keeps going this way, we are going to get that power weapon at Stern or at Winch. Most likely going to be at Stern, and that's going to force the engagement. Engagement's going to be forced regardless heading in the second half. So Rebel taking as many rounds in first half is going to be hugely important. But we won't get to that point until probably the shocks are placed. But either way, we got the DeToX, we have the Talons, and for Elevate, they've got to find a way to respond, Blaze, because being down 2-0 doesn't feel good.
Doesn't feel good at all. In round number 2, they had to deal with Crack. He was the playmaker. In round number 1, it was Demise who had the first blood. So pretty sure we're going to see a battle between both of them. Now, you will see 2 different pushes. Elevate choosing to take the Stern side of the map, even playing off their left hand. So that kind of caught Rebel off guard. I love Demise trying to take the wide angle, but he gets the meat shield. Couldn't turn around in time to let that meat shield take damage and even get in position to revive his teammates. So the up top Stern fight is going to be won by Rebel. Now 2 members down low for Elevate. They don't have much time to make a play before player 6 flanks. They got to stay alive, but Kardia with the DeToX gets the headshot that he needs. Rebel's going to win the initial, and now they're going to try to get set up before Elevate can do anything about it.
I love that play from Demon. Instead of going over to C and getting the decap, he understands that's going to be short-lived. Elevate's coming off the respawn. They're going to quickly retake their own home hill. He decides to go on the flank. Does he get value from it? Not necessarily, because, of course, one of the heads ended up being connected with the DeToX, so his heads ended up rolling. But regardless, though, that play was a lot, and it ended Rebel in the lead. But even so, the pressure is real for Elevate. Player 1 already drops off. That's going to force DeToX and Shock to make a big decision. Do they want to back off? Well, Shock has already backed off. DeToX is forced to stay 10 toes down and go forward. But ultimately, he ends up losing his life. But maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Tidy gets a great kill onto Crack and gets the decap onto B. So that's going to make things a bit trickier for Rebel. Let's see if they can answer back.
Tidy does a good job backing up, playing his life. Now the flash is out. He gets the stun, but Demon put out enough pressure to slow Tidy down, but it's not going to save Identivez' life in the end. Big plays here from Elevate to get this B hill capture back up. Now, let's see if that's going to be enough for them to get back into this matchup. You see that the win condition is going to shift over. So now, for the first time of this matchup, they get to be the defensive squad here with this 2-1 hill setup. But they got to get the kills. It's a 1v1 up top, soon to be a 2v1 in favor of Elevate. Kardia goes down, and now Elevate is in a beautiful position to possibly win this round. But as I say that, big decap from Crack. So he's rotating the map, getting into some fights on his opponent's side. He's going to have a 1v1 against Tidy. He doesn't want to take it just yet. He may need to take it soon, but he knows as long as he can keep this heal neutralized, he'll be okay. But he has to deal with 2 members. It's Shock and Tidy. He's going to find a 1v1. Can he get the last down, the last bit of damage that he needs? But he's going to choose just to go to spawn. So that takes these 2 players out of the equation. It keeps the B hill from being capped. He almost gets into that 1-shot range. Now, look at the score. It's still a lot of time for Rebel to come back in this one. We'll see if Crack's efforts will be in vain or not.
Elevate needs to stay alive at DeToX falling. That's tough. And also Demise, that's 2 down. And Elevate needed those 2 players to stay alive and distract Rebel as long as possible. And hopefully, you know, the best end is to pick up an elimination. Shock still has a chance, though, to make it interesting. That's going to be 1 down. Demon's going to be picked back up. Kardia's there for the revive. Demon's going for the push, and Shock falls. And this should, no, Elevate still has the win condition. So the break for Rebel needs to come in on C. And player 7's getting it.
Crack has been making plays all game, has not slowed down. Big down there in the final few moments. Can Tidy make the play? He can't get around the meat shield, and Crack lays him down. Tells him, think about what you did there. Beautiful round there from Rebel to get 3 in a row. They fought hard to come back in that one, Taylor.
Yes,
Crack was making plays the entirety of that map, and them just keeping the action on Elevate's closer to Elevate spawn in so many ways throughout the last, 2 minutes of that round helped Rebel out a lot. But hey, good job to them. 3-0 here for Rebel.
And you know, that's the first time we've really seen not the first time we've seen Crack make plays like that, but the first time we've really seen, you know, Rebel hold on to a lead when that round was so close, or not even a lead, they didn't even have it, but hold on to that win condition so well. Very well done. And again, I go back to I believe it was Demise and Tidy, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe Demise and Shock, who were over at Cargo. They were at C-Spawn looking to battle it out, and they ended up dropping off. They needed to waste as much time as possible. Unfortunately, they ended up falling down. Excuse me, that was Demise and DeToX. So if they stay up, they hold their ground, maybe Elevate takes that round, but it is what it is. Crack made the break. Let's head in now to the last round of the first half, and off the rip, a lot of bodies are dropping off. But I think Elevate might be off to one of the best starts they've had yet, and yes, they will be.
Yo, big plays from Tidy with the support on the line to help his teammates out. He got a big down on Demon, and for his team to be able to trade out the rest of those kills. Now, Identivez is going to try to stay alive. I don't know how long he can stay alive for, but he's doing a great job just playing ring around a Rosie, making players chase him, and that's just time in which they are not obtaining objectives and map control. Identivez teammates know it, so they're trying to take the 3v2 down low, get the capture on the B hill. Can't get the capture, but the decap is there, so that's going to be a win for them. Let's see if they can hold off just long enough for their teammates to get off respawn and possibly put some pressure on Stern or Winch.
Score is still close. Demise is going to find an opportunity to get that full cap onto B. Like you mentioned, that Stern and Winch, the pressure is going to be there with players 8 and 6, Identivez and Demon. They're pushing in, but off to hold them off is going to be DeToX, and DeToX will already take down Identivez. Demon can't push up, and player 6 had to back fully away. So at this point, Elevate looking solid still, and that's going to make Rebel probably want to jump on B that much more so, given the fact that, of course, they're now down 50 or so points. But we have seen Rebel make these rounds close. And again, there you go. There's going to be the push onto B. And the decap's going to be big. If they can get the full cap here, it's going to force Elevate into action. But I think they might go for the OE as soon as B is lost. Maybe not.
Shock finally rotated towards the Winch, and he's going to put himself in a position to get that kill. That's what the members of Elevate was waiting for. With the man advantage that they have, they should have no issues taking out Crack, but you know, the way Crack been playing, you got to be cautious when you approach that Myra. 2 more members of Rebel trying to get the B hill. Good shots from Tidy. They're gonna get the double kill, and DeToX on top of C. He has some fire coming from across the map. Is it gonna be enough? You see how Kardia is crouched, taking shots. He's dodging bullets. He's doing a good job defending this home hill. We'll see if Rebel can make some late game heroics to get this one back. But for now, it's looking like Elevate's going to get their first round.
Yeah, this definitely should be their round, unless Rebel, like you mentioned, can pull off some heroics. Only dropping 2 is, you know, it's not enough, right? You need a little bit more, but Shock also falls. That's going to give Rebel a free break over towards A, and B is also broken. You're saying, oh boy, I'm seeing why. Man, Elevate could be in trouble here. Player 7's going to be at the forefront. He's going to be the one to face DeToX. Not only the engagement on the Shock, but also going to be the fact that the Nasher is starting to hit True. Identivez going to drop off. Crack can't get the break. Elevate will lock in their first round, but not without their struggles. We're heading into the second half, but luckily, at least Elevate gets one round. If they were down 4-0, call it curtains, it would have been over with.
Yeah, you pretty much got to. You pretty much got to. You know, the first 3 rounds, you know, I got to give Rebel a lot of credit for their defense, okay? Because when they got off to those early victories off the initial, and they just had to kind of sit in place, they did a good job holding the B hill, holding the home hill, making it difficult for their opponent to either focus on Doc or focus on the Winch, just based off the pressure and rotations. Because as people from Elevate are pushing Docs, you got members of Rebel pushing up top from home hill. So they're looking really good in the late game. That's the first round that Elevate was able to pull out, and every single round that we've played has been over 2.5 minutes up until this point. So these are some long, lengthy rounds, and this is where defense is gonna win you map number 1 if you can take this initial.
I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I feel Elevate on the second half is only going to get better. And I really hope that's not the case, but if it is what it is. Rebels being very aggressive though, and they are pushing Shock and Demise to the brink, and I hope they didn't bite off more than they can chew, and Crack is going to drop off. I feel that push was a bit ill-advised. There was no value given the fact that they had already secured E. What were they really trying to do there, Blaze? Because again, what was the value in making that push?
Well, they're making a push. Why did Elevate make the push?
No,
So
why did
Elevate,
Rebel make that push? Because they had already locked in the neutral, and then they decide to push Shock and Tidy all the way over past ramp, and then they end up getting exposed and counter wiped, and now Elevate has the neutral. Why didn't Rebel just try to hold down ramp as you typically see teams do?
Because they had a right-hand advantage and they were playing wide there. So they got the top for free, and they saw their opponent trying to get wide on a ramp. So they says, hey, you know, we have the height advantage, we have right-hand advantage as well, but Elevate just won their fight, you know? So it wasn't too bad of a play from Rebel, playing for the time, playing for the best, trying to get the best out of their positioning here. Just that Elevate won some big fights. We're going to see them win another big team fight here. That was a beautiful shot grenade there to lock all three of those players up on a ramp. And at this point, Elevate, they're in the late game, and this is where they got to be stronger than Rebel. And this is how they get back into the series. So far, looking good.
I guess one good thing for Rebel is they have been showing that, you know, facing adversity back against wall, they can make the last portions of the rounds interesting. They've been doing that consistently. You mentioned about, what, 2.5 minutes for basically every round we've been seeing. So it's been going the distance. But at this point, Elevate, they've got a decent lead. 25 seconds, they're going to take the victory. So Rebel's going to have to band together and really make this push happen. It's going to be a 3v3. Let me see if there's any shocks. There's no shock. So they're going to be able to basically go up this ramp, but not without a challenge. That Lancer Fire is hit and strong, but even so, Demon gets up top. Crack as well. Crack's going to be able to connect on a shot. You got Tidy, who's going to be backing up down ramp, and it looks as if Rebel might be able to go for free up ahead, but they've got to win this positioning. They've already lost this once. Tidy's going to manage to clutch up a one. Meatshield's going to be in the hand. Kardia, though, is going to be able to get the drop. That's going to be the break. Now you got 6 and 8, who's going to be going for the overextension, but not enough time. Elevate, they had the time on their side. That nets them the 250 and the round win. They now trail behind 1 round behind Rebel, who was leading 3-0 at one point.
Woo-wee. All right. So Elevate, these last 2 rounds, they look good. They, you know, have not lost in some of these last minute pushes that we've seen Rebel make there in the late game. Primarily, you know, it was really Crack setting the pace in the first 3 rounds. He's kind of calmed down here these last 2. We'll see if he can pick it back up just a bit. But regardless if he picks it up or not, just Rebel as a unit is in a good spot. They shouldn't be feeling too much pressure. They just need to figure out what the hell happened these last 2 rounds, make those adjustments, and come out here round number 6, swing and try to get to that map point. We're going to see a 1-3 ramp from both these teams. You know, standard strategy. Got the bottom lane covered in a 1v1 position, 3 players up top. Now, Elevate, they're going to choose to take their right hand at the stern position, avoid the fight at Winch. The wrap shot is missed by Crack, and Demise is going to make them pay for it. That's going to give Elevate the advantage in which they need. Demon is going to be next on their hit list.
Yeah, Demon's going to have a tough spot here, and that's a good start. We need Demon to pop off, or he's going to be instrumental in the success for Rebel. Picking up 1, fair enough. Kardia's there, but he needed Demon to at least pick up Shock. But of course, you can't put all the pressure onto him. His other teammates need to win those fights as well. Shock, though, forced to back off, and Rebel's been preferring this fight, but man, they're about to go into the blender. Shocks is going to take down more, or at least get the shot on the Kardia, but wait a second. Doesn't even matter. Domination comes through, and Elevate now has tied it up 3-3. And maybe I was right. I told you I was getting a sick feeling that coming in the second half, something just seemed like Elevate was going to have more success than Rebel.
Well, you know, like after the first 3 rounds that Rebel won, you know, it was something in rounds 4 and 5 that I felt from Elevate that they were kind of warming up. That's what it felt like. It felt like their shots were hitting, their setups was clean. They were quick on the rotations. You know, I said they won an initial. I saw the entire team set up across the middle of the map, ready for the next fight. And it just seemed like they were a little bit more locked in than the start of this map. And so far, it has shown on the scoreboard. So it seems like we were kind of both right about that one. Now we got a series on our hand. Rebel had the lead and the cushion that they wanted on this map. We said that they needed to win this one if they wanted to have a chance at making it towards Exhibit or get into what could be their best map on District. But it starts now. And Identivez and Kardia, they're going to get 2 kills to kick off the round.
And that's a big 2 kills. Nets them to neutral, and without question, Rebel needs this round. They cannot lose 4 in a row and in good conscience, right, still win this this map. We've seen Rebel before, you know, lose a series of rounds and then just kind of choke it in the end. So I'm hoping that's not going to be the case here. But Elevate is playing very well, and this 2v2 needs to be won. But Tidy gets the kill. Crack also falls, and that was a must-win in my opinion.
Oh my God, both 2v2s are one on the opposite end of the map. That was big. That was big because Tidy was trapped in a corner. He was getting Lancer from the side. But it just shows those revives in those situations, man, are so important. Just have trust in your teammate. Get them up. The Lancer fires here. The Shoddy is there.
Tidy.
2 downs. The revive.
Tidy.
It's a bloodbath, and Tidy is cleaning up all of these kills. He's even going to back up and let his teammates get the rest, as he should. Elevate gets 4 in a row in that round right there, man. That could have been a nail in the coffin for map number 1.
Yeah, that's 4 in a row, Blaze. And second half has been, and I think the biggest thing is in second half, Elevate hasn't backed down. They haven't looked weak whatsoever. So for me, it might be curtains for Rebel here on map number 1. That's going to put them in the district, which is going to be a tough one without question. I know they've had successes versus other teams on district, but I'm just going based on their previous matches that I've witnessed on district myself in Pro League, and they haven't looked the strongest. M-bar on Stern, fair enough, but you got to think Elevate's been consistently winning this fight. You might have just given them an M-bar. So Kardia, or excuse me, Elevate places that. So now Kardia is like, well, we really don't want to give them a free M-bar. And if we do, we still want a chance to maybe have something for ourselves. So they place a torque bow. Fair enough. This breaks up the map enough for me to give Rebel maybe the edge they've needed.
We'll see if it's going to be enough. This is going to kind of turn the map into a 2v2. So it's most likely going to be a 1v1 for the weapon up top. It's actually 3 members of Rebel. They want to focus on the M-bar. They want to focus on the heal capture. Giving up the bow slightly. You see the 3 members of Rebel up top. The Lancer fire in the background. Demise put out some damage, but it wasn't enough. Demon gets it down, but it's easy cleanup there for Rebel. Their strategy, it works out exactly how they designed it to. Getting their kills, getting the advantages, but can they get the trip cap? Player 7 is flanking Tidy. He's dodging M-bar shots as well, and he gets the beautiful back A and stays alive. That's what you want to see out of him in that type of position. He handles the pressure very well.
Well, I mean, Blaze, he's been doing it consistently, has he not? We were just praising Tidy in the last round, and he does it once again. First, it was crack for Rebel in the first half. Now it's been all Tidy in the second half for Elevate. And when you have one player making big moments like that, he can absolutely shift the odds back in your favor, despite maybe 3 members going down in your team looking a bit lackluster. Big connections need to happen for Identivez. That's going to be a body shot. Get the finish. There we go. Tidy is going to be down. Kardia is going to pick up the torque bow. So at this point, Rebel is still in the driver's seat with the power weapons, but I'm a bit worried because they don't have the objective yet, but they're going to be getting on the home hill, and that's a great connection on a DeToX.
Yeah, it was a beautiful one, but his fight isn't over yet. He needs to get focused. Forget Xbox record that. You need to, we'll record it. We'll record it. Don't worry about it, all right? Just keep hitting your shot. Trip cap domination coming through.
Okay.
And that is going to be us going to a round number 9. What a way to start this one off.
What a way to start this off. Might be a long day, Blaze, but I know we're here for it, baby. I know we are here for it. So Rebel sends it to round 9. You love to see it.
Let's go back a little bit.
Sure.
Because it was a 3-1 start there for Rebel, focusing on getting that M-bar, and that was the pressure. Just them kicking it off in that strategy gave them the man advantage that they needed to get the first down. That got them the next 2 kills for the 3-man wipe, the power weapon, the lead, the map control. Now I'm curious to see if Elevate's gonna match the numbers, but instead we get a block for that torque boy mid. Going into the last round, you want to keep it simple. You want a fight that's as close to the previous 8 rounds, and that's going to be putting the focus at Stern. We'll see if that's going to be the right play. Elevate, they won 4 in a row. They had the momentum. Can they close it out?
Demon has to go big here. Any kill that you get at this moment is going to be huge, but Tidy is applying that pressure. Crack is already going to be, he's going to drop DeToX, but still, Elevate 10 toes down, looking to push around this winch, and Rebel keeping that pressure up. Crack will take down DeToX, so now you just have Demise and Tidy that you have to get through down low. The M-bar should be secured up top, but not just yet, I would say. Shock is going to be down. Kardia is going to pick up that M-bar. The pressure is going to be real. Tidy is still trying to fight for his life. Rebel can't get them out, but a great connection will put both of those members down. DeToX is going to be last up. Demise is going to be left to bleed out the staggered, the deaths, and Rebel is looking good. This is their best chance to lock in this round and take map 1.
DeToX taking a nice angle here to kind of stay alive until his teammates can get in position. The misroll is there. Great stun by Shock, but do they have enough time on the clock? It's looking like Rebel's gonna lock in map number 1 as they go.
Not yet. Not yet.
The sneak cap.
No.
It's still going. The revives are there.
Oh, and he wins. He keeps elevated and DeToX going big. He slipped through the cracks. Now, Blaze, is Rebel going to unravel at this point? Because I know for sure they thought that round was theirs.
Oh boy, man. I thought it was theirs as well, but DeToX made a big play across the map, but can he stay alive? This is what his team wanted. Now, they're going to get the E-hill up top. They got their home hill back. They put themselves in a defensive position. Rebel wasn't able to get back in time to set up because they thought they were going to win a game as well. But this is where Elevate gets a chance to get the M bar.
Yes.
They already got the map control. They need to focus, get the kills. Lots of damage on Demon. He goes down. The angle from down low at Winch comes through. Tidy gets a double. He gets a triple. The fourth is in his sights. Crack. He's out of there. The trip cap domination comes through. And Elevate locks in map number 1 in a crazy fashion. DeToX, boy. You ready to make some plays this weekend, we see, huh?
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew,
my
indeed.
gosh. Oh, man. DeToX, the playmaker. Hey, Blaze, you saw it, and I know you feel it. Rebel was not expecting that second fight. Like, Rebel was not expecting that second fight. They thought they had already won the round. DeToX makes that phenomenal play, getting onto E, and mind you, wins a 1v1. It's not like that E-hill was for free, right? He had to win that 1v1. He wins the 1v1 and ends up taking it and keeping Elevate in. And as soon as he did that, Rebel just went in a frenzy. And I was worried for it because I was like, I think they're going to start unraveling here because, again, they thought they had the win. 100%. There was no question. And there was no question in my mind either.
But if you think about it, because Rebel dominated the initial and they're slowly starting to move up. And we're watching DeToX in this moment as Myra's trying to get by him. That's Crack. Okay, Crack been making plays all game. He makes a decision. He says, do I want to shoot Crack here? And he says, you know what?
Yeah.
I am going to shoot him. It turns out to be the right play because Crack has to focus on him. He then gives the call outs to his teammates. At that point, it's only 2 players on the hill rather than 3. DeToX could have lanced him in his back as he's running to the hill, but it may not have worked out. Then he stays alive and he makes the rotation, pushes up the ramp, wins the biggest 1v1 of the entire match for his squad. So he did a good job keeping his team in it. I know they're very thankful for him, but hey, it's not over yet. That's just map number 1 locked in. And that was an exciting performance out of both these teams. And we talked about it early on. They're just this is position 8 and position 9 of the Pro League.
Right.
It's a close matchup, man. And map number 1 proved that.
And I knew it was going to be close. I mean, again, like you mentioned, standings-wise, 8 and 9. You have one team, though, that has definitely had their inconsistencies. I think Elevate, as of recently, have had their inconsistencies, too. But Tidy in that second half, I mean, just DeToX making a move, Tidy making the big plays as well. Second half was all Elevate. And again, Rebel, I know they thought that round was locked in place, and it just wasn't. And they let their guard slip a little bit. DeToX, though, being the hero, getting the decap. And then this is where it all unraveled. I mean, this fight here, Identivez 100% along with Demon is thinking that's it. But DeToX getting that decap. Now they got to have a different mentality. Now they've got to try and push back. And then Tidy is there for the 3-piece. Man, Blaze, you couldn't ask for a better comeback story. I'm blown away that this was only round 1. I genuinely am.
Oh man, but Elevate, as the map progressed, they got better and better and better.
They did. They did.
But that's the characteristics of a great Gears of War team. Just finding those small intangibles, those small little adjustments in your opponent's initial for you to find an advantage off of. When it comes down to initial strategies in Gears of War, there are some big differences that you can run. You could, send 2 guys on opposite sides of the map. You could stack your numbers on one end. You could spread it across and have several different 1v1s in multiple lanes. But Elevate, they found the proper adjustments that they needed to make on a map like Harbor that doesn't have many. That comes down to putting your focus on Winch or your focus on Stern in the beginning of the round. We saw some audibles where the torque bow went down and they kind of split up into a 2-2, but that quickly got blocked out by Elevate, and they says, you know what? We know how this is going to come, what this is going to come down to. And that's us utilizing our teamwork and taking all the information that we've gathered over the previous 8 rounds to beat you on round number 9.
Hmm.
And, and that's what happened. They lost the initial, but
Yep.
luckily for them, DeToX had all the info and all the courage and confidence that he needed to get that final kill and extend around there for his team. So good job to them. They're going to have to take all of that over towards District if they want to get off to a better start and not have to play from behind like they did in the first map.
And this is where I asked you before, you as a competitor, you lose a strong map, and what do you do to come back from it? And I know your answer was now the aggressive like pep talk comes through, okay? The aggressive happy talk comes through, and you got to just be, we're gonna win this, and you just got to be all for it. But that's a tough loss. Like, again, the biggest thing for me, Blaze, and I think this goes throughout all of at least phase 1 of Split 2 for Pro League for Rebel, is they've been so close to so many victories, and whether it be map 3s or even in just individual maps, map 1, map 2. They've been so close to victory only to have something dramatic happen to flip the script and for them to lose that map. And this was another example of that on Harbor. DeToX, one mistake, 1v1. And I'm not gonna even. I forget who DeToX ended up taking down for that 1v1 on the neutral, but that fight decided everything. It really did. That fight should have been won for Rebel. If that 1v1 is won, we already know Demon and Identivez is winning the home hill, so they would win that. The 1v1 was everything, and that player just didn't make it happen. And I'm not saying he choked, but he just didn't make it happen. But with that being said, though, Rebel has been, again, so close to victories, only to fall just shy of a victory. And this is one of those chances, and this is mid-split playoffs. And again, it happens, and I know that's weighing heavy on their mind. For them, well, let me ask you, Blaze, do you think Rebel at this point is thinking, like, what do we have to do to get a win? Like, what is going to be the breaking point for us to finally get a win, because we get so close, but we're always so far away?
I think that the question that they ask themselves that possibly has the answer in it as well is, what do we need to stop doing to beat ourselves? Okay,
Fair
like
enough.
what do we need to do to close out these series, to be able to take our gameplay to another level when it matters and not fold in the late game, in the late rounds of these maps, in the late map 3, because they've pushed their opponent to a lot of map 3s, a lot of
Yes,
top
they
teams
have.
out there in the Pro League. Rebel are contenders, but there comes a certain point where you are able to see your team in a winning position to take the series, and you say, you know what? Let me tighten up. Okay, let's clean up a little bit more. Let's play a little bit harder here to guarantee it, because it's not guaranteed. Yeah, you can come off to a hot start. You can win 3 rounds in a row, and you can feel comfortable, like, okay, this is looking like it's going to be a win. We keep doing what we're doing. And then you get a team like Elevate, who now you're faced with adversity on the other end of a squad
Right.
that's going to get better round by round. And then you're hoping that it's going to be, kind of easy as we go on through here. We got map number 1, map 2 and 3 should be good. We won the first 3 rounds. Of course, the rest should fall in our favor. And it never really works that way. And so you have to stay locked in. As we love to say around here, you need to be 10 toes down.
Yes, sir.
You need to be ready to play, ready to fight, ready for the rotation to come through, all the way until you get that win condition. And if you have any lapse of judgment, your mind drifts a bit, or you feel like your teammate's gonna make the play and you're okay, you get any of those feelings, man, you may lose it there in a late game. Your opponent may start to pull away with it. You may let some rounds slip by. And the best teams in our league are the most consistent. And you got to ask yourselves, what the hell are they doing to be the most consistent? What's happening in practice?
Consistency is one thing, but there have been inconsistencies for both rosters, and this is just this is the thing, right? If you were those seeds 7 through 10, right, you already knew that you were going to be starting off early on, and these guys, they have a long day ahead of them, and we're just getting started round number 9, heading into map 2 on District. So this is just the start of their mid-split playoff run, and if it's starting like this, man, you better hope they're going to have the endurance to be able to last all the way through to Sunday. But I'm sure they'll be just fine. They're used to this rigmarole, if you will. So We'll see how it works out. As we head into district plays, we already know Elevate has to be the stronger team here. I know I was talking to Ink just earlier, and he was saying, you know, when it comes to District Rebel, we are very strong. We've had great wins on this map. We actually look to be one of the strongest teams on this map, at least in this series. But I don't necessarily disagree, but I will say, again, I think Elevate is going to be the better team on this map. And the reason why is because also you got to think about the momentum they have from getting that close win. You know, Tidy popping off, a Demise or DeToX as well. So this is going to be a tough win for them. But regardless, so Kardia gets to down on Shock. Of course, he'll be picked back up, but Rebel, they're going to have to 2-1 off the rip. This is a must-win map for them.
A must-win map indeed, and beautiful focus fire there from Kardia to get his team that down, to get that capture at B. But you see all 4 members of Elevate rotating down low towards the home hill. They knew what they needed to get, and they knew what the next objective was going to be, the way that initial kind of broken down, and they're going to find that. So now they get to just get this capture and kind of spread out the bottom portion of the map. We're going to have a 1v1 at the home hill on C, and a 3v3 between the mid lane and a home hill of Rebel. So you see Crack here on your screen. He's just going to take this to spawn because he knows where all 4 players are. So he also knows that nobody's going to be spawning up behind him on the side of Elevate. Great angles there by Demon. Crack has pressure on the right. That player gets downed out. Shock has to run into a player mid-map, and he will get the kill on Kardia, but barely. You see how ready he is.
I think this is a must-win round 100%, you know, for the boys of Rebel, just to kind of turn things around and show like, okay, we can win, we can come together and make this happen. And they are definitely making good on this, but the OE is there. The domination's coming through. The Mr. Krabs attempt for Elevate. Can anybody get a touch? And A will finally be touched, but just barely to keep Rebel in it. But Elevate getting sneaky. That puts them back with the win condition and back with the objective. Rebel, this is going to be a long map for them.
Ooh, and I don't know if a long map is what they need. They're going to need some big 3v3 team fights off the initial, some power weapons center line, and kind of turn those into trip cap dominations. Because we saw in the last map, as it gets longer, Elevate gets better. So this round is currently over that 2-minute mark. Now, it's Elevate with the lead. They're going to have B Hill and C Hill locked in, so that's their win condition. They got 2 members down on the side of Rebel. They know that. They're feeling confident in the late game. This is where they get set up. They start marking players, and they get that initial damage in with the Lancer, as you see Rebel trying to trek across from their spawn to their opponent's side of the map. And we'll see if Rebel can get out of this difficult position.
Difficult position it is going to be. Locking in B is going to help. Demon Fallen is going to be tough. That put Kardia out of position, double down, and that should solidify the round for Elevate for sure, as Rebel's just not going to have the manpower in the time that they need it to be able to close it out within 10 seconds. So Tidy's starting off the emotes. He's filling himself, and rightly so. That 3-piece was nasty to close out that round 9 on Harbor. So looks like business as usual for Elevate. They're going to be up 1-0, and Rebel have to claw their way back.
Yeah, they definitely do got to claw their way back. Now, that was a good round for Rebel. You know, Kardia, you know, had that first impact play. That got his team to 2-1 hill setup. But when it came down to seeing the rotation, playing for the home hill down low, it just, they couldn't make it there in time, because Elevate, they found a kill in the middle. So Rebel, they could have been trying to play for the trip cap domination early on, but as soon as your teammate gets that capture at B, at this level of gameplay, you need to back up to the 2-1 hill setup and let your opponent push you, because they will push you at some point if you get a free cap like that early on in a game with no power weapons down, but no kills come through, right? I think that's the important part. So Rebel just needs to just stay alive after that capture and make it difficult there for Elevate and set the pace. We'll see if they can do that this round.
On our Bravo station, we had another match taking place. United versus Rated R. United gets the victory over Rated R, dropping them down to the loser bracket, and that puts United to push forward to play against VQ. And I know a lot of us seen that matchup coming on, so that's going to be a fun one without question to see how that's going to unfold, and could very well decide one of those teams being in grand finals, because that's going to be a lot of momentum for whoever gets that win. But back on track with Elevate and Rebel. As you mentioned, Elevate does have that 1-0 lead, bit of a standstill so far. Rebel had a decent back and forth with Elevate in round 1 in terms of the initial mid game and getting closer to that late game, but Elevate was just able to react a little bit better. But for Identivez and the player in bandstand for Rebel, they're wanting to make this push and send Shock as well as his partner back, but they do back off themselves. So we're going to have a bit of a longer initial here, Blaze.
No kills coming through so far in this round. It's just been all rotations. As far as flash grenades go, you're gonna have 2 on the side of Rebel, and you got 4 nades on the side of Elevate. So they still got their flashes in hand to work with. At this level of gameplay, hey, you know, that's an advantage if you can kind of pinpoint that and you know, bring attention to the amount of nades that we're throwing already. But we see the flash. Tossstone crack with a back A. Beautiful from him. It came through so quickly. And you saw how hurt he was. Big play. This could get the B hill for his team, but he hops too early before the smoke lands. The capture is coming through. Kardia will be able to get the revive for him. So Crack's going to make the first play in this round. And now this is what I was talking about for Rebel. When you get that capture early on, you got to just play defense. There's no big power weapons on the map. They got to hold off from this push from Elevate, and they're making the same play once again, going from home hill to home hill.
And Elevate is making, they're going to make a strong attempt. DeToX going to start it off, gets a nice stun on the Kardia, though. Identivez is going to be there for the help, and Kardia is going to manage to take down DeToX. 1-5-1, but still, the pressure from Elevate is there. Great shots with the Boltok up close for Demon. Talk about a steady hand, and also connects the final shot onto Shock, and that puts Rebel back in the driver's seat. Tidy in mid, he's going to fall, and Blaze, this is looking like a Rebel round.
Yeah, it's looking like it. Can they close it out? DeToX knows that he got a tall task ahead of him, and that's just trying to stay alive till his teammates get there. Now, he won't be able to. He falls. Demise tries to rotate up top to B. He goes down. Rebel got all lanes covered, and the home hill is being captured. They do a way better job in round number 2 to not let that 2-to-1 hill advantage get away from them, because if you get that advantage, you become the defensive squad, and from that point on, you get to just play off your back foot with the Lancer out, the pistol out, the Boltok out, put out free damage on your opponent as they're rotating for the next objective in which they need to stay in the round. And Rebel, they did a good job punishing them and capitalizing on their little advantage that they had.
Absolutely, and that comes to show you if they do win a solid initial, get the objective in their favor defensively, they can set up well, and they can hold their own. That Boltok again for Demon, man, he is just so deadly with it. He's connecting shots, and that's going to be instrumental, especially if he decides to go info or juice, or really in any engagement he gets into. I know the retro is one thing, right, for your head slayers to rocket, get the chip damage, and go in for the chunk in the ends, but that Boltok for Demon can be just as deadly. Either way, Rebel is looking to push through Cinema. Shock is going to have some company soon, and he better be ready for it.
Oh, he gets down at the last second. His teammate rotated to him, but doesn't get there in time. Demise is going to rotate over as well. Is he going to be the third player to fall to Elevate this round? He will not. He's actually going to try to take out 2. He put some good damage on Crack. He calls it out to his teammate off the respawn, and Shock picks up the kill. So Demise with a beautiful defensive stance there to keep his team in this round. And now that could give them an advantage, but he will fall in this 1v1 position. And the C hill will go over towards Rebel. I could have spoken too soon, but with Identivez flanking, surely Tidy is not going to be up for too long unless he makes another miraculous play, but not this time around. Home hill's locked in for Rebel. They're going to win this initial.
A tough spot for Tidy, right? You had Identivez and Kardia. You were kind of sandwiching them in. They had good spacing. He ended up falling. Domination coming through. Crack's going to get the cleanup on DeToX. Demon last one standing, and there it is. Or Rebel is going to be able to take round number 2. Great work from them. They have the lead. And you know what? Again, for me, this shows composure, and it shows that they have effectively let that narrow loss on Harbor go. And they are clear-headed for this second map here on District. So well done from them. Still going to stay standard. Looks like we're going to get the Shocks down low for the Boltox, or excuse me, the Retro that are going to be coming out. But either way, though, business as usual. Last round of the first half, Blaze.
All right, so with 3 rounds out the way, Rebel with the lead 2-1. So far, these last 2 rounds, Crack has been making a play for his squad, getting that first initial damage at top cinema. Now, if he wants to keep playing top cinema, Elevate may keep him there. Okay, they're gonna give him something else to play for, and that's that turbo on the top end of the map. So our team fight's gonna change a bit. Let's see who is it gonna change more in favor for.
Wow, Wasn't expecting it to come down that early, but they want that cinema fight, and that's going to be Elevate. Demise looking to get that early poke, even though it's going to go down. And he's going to be fully finished off. It's going to Elevate in a tough spot. Or should be Rebel in a tough spot. Demise dancing around full week. Crack is going to be there to at least get the down, but of course Team Victim's going to be there. Identivez is going to join Crack. That's going to force these boys from Elevate to back up. Torquebo is going to be picked up, and at this point, Rebel has put themselves in a great spot. They are losing B, but they should surely be able to gain it back, especially if Identivez can get out. Shock is going for the push. He hopefully gets it down, and he doesn't. Crack also falls. This is a devastating loss for the Rebel boys, and Elevate 100% in the driver's seat and going for the domination. Demon needs to go big.
Yeah, he does. Now it's going to be hard. Tidy does have a foot in the heel. Confidence in his teammate. Kardia goes for the wrong player off the respawn. And that is going to be a capture there from Elevate. They do it in 57 seconds with the domination. And that was a good job to them. You know, kind of rewinding back to the beginning of that round. Demise, he hit a beautiful flash on Demon, but as soon as his flash dropped, he also was able to get a full spread shot off as well. So Demon goes down. The main advantage is in Elevate off the start. Even though Torquebo gets picked up from Rebel, you see the 2 kills that come through from Elevate as those players try to retreat with the power weapon. And from there, it was a beautiful pinch on top of the home hill. So we're all tied up going into the second half. And but the power weapon is still the focus. So we're going to be seeing that fight for a while. Let's see if Rebel can get the leg up this time around.
And you know what? If they do survive this initial and maybe don't commit for the domination, they are going to have a lot of damage per second with the retro and the hammer burst. That could be beneficial, but still, they have to get through the initial. As you mentioned, Torquebo is everything, and Crack is feeling a lot of that pressure. He's going to drop Identivez as well, and that's going to be 3 down. Kardia forced to retreat. Torquebo is going to be into the hands of Elevate with DeToX, and another domination attempt coming through. Kardia, he's got to get at this touch along with Demon. They're too far back.
You got to.
Oh.
But that side roll gets him in the hill. He's gonna take a lot of free damage. Now this is a 3v3 fight. Rebel, Crack makes it in. Identivez takes a lot of damage, but Shock is so composed with that meat shield on the edge. He has no issues whatsoever locking in this round. So good job to him. That's gonna be a 49-second round, and Elevate, man, it's just getting better as time goes on.
Less than 2 minutes for the previous 2 rounds. Tough break for Rebel. And as you mentioned, they're just going to keep getting better and better. Now, the big thing, though, the rounds have a possibility of being extended, given the fact that now with that Torquebo up top on Cinema, you can't ignore that. The fight's going to be there. That will give the advantage to whoever wins the initial to go home to home and have the 2-1. But either way, though, it's a long jaunt for E, and therefore the round should be extended because it's going to be harder to lock in a domination. But either way, though, we'll see if that benefits Rebel, given the fact that they have been struggling off of the start. The shocks are going to be there. That's definitely going to be changing the fight up a little bit. You can't just be headstrong and go straight in for the Torquebo because you run at risk of being dropped from the shock. So let's see how that changes the pace of this initial.
And let's see how Demon is going to change the pace himself, because he's the one who's been getting picked off every single round by Demise on the other end. This time he will dodge the flash. He steps up. He still gets hit with that full spread. He has to dodge the shock, and Demon can't get anything working on his last down. Has a lot of pressure on him, but the quick pick on the Torquebo. Demise communicates with his teammate. He may bank this one off the wall, put it on the ground, a headshot with the bow. Flash damage hits Demon just a bit, but you see him and Identivez, they recover. Identivez needs to get the revive there on Kardia. Relax.
Definitely trying, man. Demise. Oh, that's a big down. And I don't know if he got the backpack on the Torque. It might be on the ground, and it's not going to be. So fair enough. Torquebo's out of the way, but that is still a positive to take away for Rebel. And, you know, that initial, I got to say, went a lot better for Rebel than I was expecting. They committed 4 strong for that Torquebo fight, and they passed up on their own shock. They allowed Elevate to stop, get their shock, and use that off the rip, which definitely helped in securing the Torquebo, but Rebel with the man presence was able to overwhelm the forces and not allow them to get away. So well done. Good audible for Rebel, and something I didn't see coming.
Yeah, no, they recovered off that initial, because in my mind, they were losing it, especially when Demise picked up that bow when they were getting backed up the way that they was. But Identivez found a way to get his team out of that position. Now, as we see them defending the E-Hill down low, Crack and Demon, they find 2 kills together. DeToX trying to chase down Kardia in an extension from home hill to home hill, but with him going down, it's going to be 3 members of Rebel on top of the home hill of Elevate. they're gonna lock this round in, no problem. And great job to them, man, because they needed that one. It was a better start.
Yeah.
Better start off that initial.
No, without question, it was. And again, I was worried that they don't pick up the shock to match the shock on Elevate's side. But again, it ended up working out because they were able to utilize their teamwork and Lancer Fire, which ultimately dropped the Torque Bow player for Elevate and then put the odds back in Rebels' favor. So good job for them. They keep it tied up 3-3. And we'll go ahead and see those ensigns now get upgraded. So shocks and ensigns, or excuse me, retro for the Elevate side. That ensign is going to only be beneficial for the fight onto E later on. But does Rebel opt to dismiss their shock off the rip, or do they stop for it this time? And does Elevate still want their shock? So they're going to send player 7 of shock to pick up the shock, and Rebel actually will send player 3 crack to pick up the shock. So this is going to be more of a balanced fight. Let's see how it turns out. This is a must-win for Rebel.
Yeah, a must win for Rebel and Demon. He tries to get in there, but he just not much he can do. Shock has some great angles there on middle when it comes down to focusing him. His teammates are doing a great job focusing on a power weapon and getting that one acquired. So Elevate, they're getting the neutral hill down low at E. They already got the power weapon, and Rebel just was not able to contest any of these 2 portions of the map after losing crack. So you see them applying pressure though up top. They are trying to get to that home hill, and they know that they're going up against the power weapon, but they don't care because they know that they need to get here. But beautiful stick there from DeToX connecting with the elbow. Demon loses the fight against Demise there, and now Elevate is trying to get the series point.
Crack has the ensign in his hand, and he's going to be in a 1v2, so he does have the chip. Well, now he's going to go ahead and use that ensign for player number 6, who's going to be up top, and might not even use it. He actually is going to hold on to it. Fair enough. Kardia takes down DeToX. Shock's going to be on his backside, so he's going to turn around to address him. In the meantime, though, another player is going to be at risk of dropping off in mid, and that's going to be Demise. So Crack finally uses the ensign and now forces that 1v1 as Kardia ended up dropping off. Tidy's a tough opponent, and that's why. Tidy will take him down, wins a critical 2v1 in that hill, or excuse me, in mid section. Even so, Rebel is locking in E, but it's not going to be easy for Demon. He's got to hold his own here. He's being pressured by DeToX and another player. Headstrong down and doesn't connect. DeToX takes him out. Elevate regains control.
Now, Elevate, they've already passed that 150 mark. They know that they can just sit here in the 2-to-1 hill setup, play for the next power weapon if they're in position to, and just rotate for hills in the late game, and they're going to lock this one up. So we'll see what they exactly have to do based off the push that Rebel is going to make here momentarily, because they got to make one soon. It's less than 30 seconds on the clock. They need to decap E. They need to decap the home hill. Player 4 and 3 are on the opposite ends of the map, and we see Elevate just backing up more and more to the spine because they feel like that's going to be their win condition, just pulling out the Lancers and playing for time. Identivez gets the Torque Bow on the top end of the map. We'll see if he makes any connections. His teammates get the decap at E. Just 22 seconds left on the clock. Rebel, they buy themselves a little bit more time, but we'll see if it's enough time as Rebel is pushing towards the spine. The Lancers are so difficult, but you see how Elevate is using their teamwork to extend the round, protect the home hill. 47 is the time in which we need to pay attention to, but with multiple downs coming through, Elevate, they knew exactly what they had to do. Play some strong defense. Don't worry so much about the heals. Get the kills, and they're going to get to round number 4 first, and just 2 left. We'll see if Elevate can close it out now, or if we're going to be all tied up going to another round number 9.
With that win, Elevate puts themselves at 4 wins, and that's going to be match point, series point for them, and an opportunity to move forward in the bracket early on with a 2-0 victory, and that would definitely be a statement for sure. So again, Rebel's going to have to answer back. And at this point, right on Harbor, they split up the fight by putting another power weapon down. And it looks like they're going with the same strategy potentially onto Bandstand, but they're going to go ahead and opt out to just go ahead and mess around, or excuse me, might go for the lock. So yeah, they're going to lock. So this is interesting, right? We have a lock coming out on one side, but on the other end, Elevate doesn't use theirs. So even if we do go to round 9, Elevate's going to have a tremendous advantage, you would have to think, because Rebel's going to have to play without some type of utility. Even so, this is Rebel's best chance to keep it even. See if it happens. Elevate's going to have more presence with that 3v3 early on to get that torque bow, and Rebel is looking like they're backing up, but hey, maybe not. They're going to be able to stand down. Identivez going to hit a nice shot to Demise, and Shock now is going to be put into the blender potentially, but Shock actually breaks out, takes down Crack, and the fight is still not won. No, Demon also falls too. Elevate looks like they're actually winning the initial one, and I thought they were going to lose it.
Demise and Shock are going off back to back. You know, they find 2 kills when it looked like it was going to be over, but they buy enough time for DeToX to get there. Now he cannot make the play, and ultimately that's going to be Rebel winning the initial. They get the power weapon as well. They got the E heal. They don't know Tidy's here, playing off that left shoulder. He gets a good spread, but in the end, it's Rebel on top of the home hill. Throughout 8 rounds in both maps, these 2 teams have been relatively even.
I love it.
And now we get another round, number 9. It just, I said, it shows just how evenly matched in which they are. Rebel, they're getting the fight in which they won on District. It's that cluster 3v3 brawl for the power weapon. These last 2 rounds, they've been able to come out on top. And they know that they got an aggressive opponent in Elevate, because, you know, when we pay attention to the initial off the start, Demise and DeToX, they do not slow down. Even when it comes down to pushing through smokes, it doesn't matter. They're going to get that initial damage in and set the pace. With the sniper rifle going down low for the side of Rebel, they're going to thin this map up a bit. So we're going to have a few 2v2s and possibly 1v1s. Now, if the secondaries get picked up, there's a possibility for free power weapon pickups, not having that extra guy there. We may not see any of the secondaries picked up just because of that. Now, player 4 is going to get the shot grenade. He needs to stop the pickup of the torque bow. Demon knows that he may get it for free. He is going to be able to pick it up. Now, down low is more of an even fight. Tidy looking across map. He connects with the body shot. But Demon, he's going to miss his shot. And well, actually, Demon's actually going to connect.
He hits a body, yeah.
Yeah, he connects with the body. So I had Demon and Demise kind of mixed up there. So that's on me. So Demon connects with the body. Demise gets the torque bow on the other end of the map. All right, folks, it's even. Both teams got the power weapon in which they wanted. They're going to be able to double back and get their utility nades as well. Don't forget, Rebels missing an incendiary grenade, so that's one that they do not have. We'll see what they could do with this snipe. They got what they want. Now, can they win the map?
And with them not having the instant, I was pretty surprised that they committed so much for that push onto Bandstand, and they were successful in getting the long shot. For me, that kind of blows my mind, but think about if Rebel doesn't stop for the shock, right? Does Demise not get his hands on the torque bow and then hands it over towards Tidy? So either way, like you mentioned, it is close, and both teams are really waiting for whether it be DeToX connecting with the torque bow or Demon connecting with the long shot. That first elimination is going to send these players into a frenzy.
It really is, man. DeToX is just going to try to make the play for his team. He got 3 bows left. And, you know, we're going to see how key that active is, man, to get that full rev and get a quick shot off. Demon has 5 shots left in his scope.
Enemy contact.
Now, Rebel is the cog team here. Okay, so Rebel knows that, hey, we don't got much to do. Just got to wait for our opponent to possibly make the play. Now, with this E-Hill being captured, that's huge.
That's huge.
You see how DeToX is revving a bow, keeping his opponent back? Just the revving of the bow, that one torque bow allowed that capture of E to come through. Now he needs to save this last bow, an important for the next rotation that Rebel's going to make, because that's going to be an important one. He takes out one of those players, would be in the late game, and that could get the win here for Elevate.
100%. So this is the thing, Rebel at this point, they're going to make an attempt, but this attempt has to work. It has to work. And if it doesn't, they are going to be at a disadvantage. Now, one of the things that is going to help Rebel, though, Crack gets the fresh torque bow. So now they have the long shot with 3 more bullets still, and they also have the fresh torque. Rebel has everything in their utility to make this happen, but I think they're going to go for a domination here, and that's going to be their win condition if I had to guess. That shock is going to keep Crack at bay for the time being, but we are now starting to see action. Player 7's going to drop off. Rebel's going to get the decap on E, but it literally comes down to a domination. That is what Rebel's going for, and it comes down to this moment. Can Rebel win round 9?
It comes down to the 2v2 fight. You see how they back up? They didn't want to go down, but they get chased out because Elevate knew that they can get these kills even with the snipe flanking from behind. DeToX takes the 1v1, keeps the hill locked in. Torque bows flying past his head left and right. Identivez can't make it in time, and he's just like, why? again around number 9. They can't close it out. Elevate was just too composed there in that round number 9 once again. And you know, you go back and you look at both maps. You take 30 seconds from each one. That's all that it takes. 1 minute.
That's right.
We could be saying Rebel is your champions here, and they're progressing on. And map number 1, that final push came through. DeToX, he made the play there. Right here in that last map, Demise on top of the home hill. He flanks some DeToX, wins the 1v1. Elevate, man, they're on a different level right now.
Yes,
Even
they
if
are.
it's slightly,
Yes,
they are on a different level still.
Now Elevate move forward in the tournament, or at least in the winner's bracket, I should say. It's not over for Rebel just yet. They still have a chance to work their way through the loser bracket, but without question, Elevate now is going to have a tough competition over in winners round 2. They'll be facing off against the #1 in Pro League of Noble, but that's going to be a great matchup. But I love what you said, Ben. It comes down to both of those round 9s, right? On Harbor and District came down to the last 30 seconds. First, it was DeToX making those big moves, Tidy getting the 3-piece. And, you know, for Rebel, man, I thought they really had a chance. I know we both saw it. Everybody saw it, that it came down to a domination attempt, right? Because at that point, Rebel had wasted a lot of time. I say wasted lightly. They did it for a reason. They were able to pick up that fresh torque bow, and that was going to be their best opportunity. But with a long shot with 3 rounds and a fresh torque bow, they still weren't able to lock in that round 9 because Elevate was composed. Composure is everything. And man, they just lock it in. And I don't know what to say. I really don't, man. Rebel, I've been saying it all season, is just, they're just such a great team, but they have the inability to close out rounds. They really do. Something always goes wrong. They always find a way to beat themselves in the end. And I must say, it truly is heartbreaking.
Man, it was cracking Kardia. I gotta put blame on them a little bit because Demon and Identivez, they got the kills in the mid map and they got the kills down low. It was 25 seconds left in the round. It was a 4v2 for Rebel to close it out. And then at the top of the map, you know, Crack with the torque bow, the shot grenade blocks him off at the door. He has to back up. But it was DeToX and Demise who saw the advantage. They saw the opportunity. They said, these guys are weak. We need to take the 2v2 that we have, not wait for help off the respawn, not wait for the very last minute. They took initiative and they got the kills in which they needed, ultimately flipping that 4v2 in their favor when their teammates came off the respawn. Cracking Kardia, they stay alive with the torque bow, just a few more seconds, just down to the end. They get the decap that they needed because they didn't need the capture, Taylor. It was just a decap. They get that, they can lock the round in, but just sometimes, man, the pressure just gets the most of these players, and we kind of saw it there for Rebel there, those last 2 rounds.
Yes, we did. And man, I know myself and Chatwin with Rebel, and you know what? We knew coming into the series, it was going to be a close one. Elevate gets the victory, but if there was any, and let me say this, I know you guys are disappointed Rebel loses. I'm disappointed myself, but they lost in 2 back-to-back round 9s. We went 18 rounds in those 2 maps, and I got to say, it was close. Rebel gave it their best, but as you mentioned in the end, man, it was just those little plays, the last 30 seconds of round 9 that ended up deciding the entire map and eventually the entire series. But what a hell of a way to start off day 1, baby.
It's funny thinking about it because Colin said it earlier, man. He says, I'm never betting against DeToX again in my life.
He said that.
He said it. And, you know, for DeToX to make the plays that he did the last round of each map, hey, man, he was right not to go against him because he would have definitely been feeling that one. Congrats to Elevate. Their day gets harder because they got to go up against a Noble team who I think is not going to let some of these rounds slip by the way that Rebel did.
No, without question not. And, you know, we talk about them being the shield, but they have definitely sharpened their sword. And they've got best of both worlds at this point from what I've been seeing. Of course, there are some times they are lackadaisical and they don't take a win, but they're going to have to get through that. It is time to secure the bag, and it is going to be a tough matchup without question. Noble has to be the favorite there.